All right. I would like to welcome 50 years. 50 years. Wow. 2 Grammys, 7 American Music Awards, Billboard Awards, Hollywood Walk of Fame, Soul Train Lifetime Achievement Award, Songwriters Hall of Fame. I've been pushing it, man. Give it up, Mr. Robert Kool Bell. How are you, sir?
I'm wonderful. How you doing, Ricardo?
Man, I'm doing great, man. I've been waiting to talk to you. I mean, it's a pleasure to speak to a living legend.
Thank you.
My pleasure. So we got to find out, your illustrious career. You've done everything. I don't know what else is there. What else could you possibly do after 50 years, right, in this business? But I'd like to know, and I'm sure the audience wants to know, where did Kool and the Gang start there? Where did you guys get your start?
We started back in 1964 in Jersey City. And our first names were the Jazziacs. And that was because of the love of jazz. My brother was into John Coltrane.
Yes,
DT was into Cannonball Adderley. I listened to Ron Carter and George Philly Joel Jones and, the jazz guy.
Right.
Then we got involved with an organization called the Soul Town Review. Now, the Soul Town Review was trying to be like the Motown Review. And we became the Soul Town Band. So we had to back up, at least 10 artists that were singing Motown songs. So needless to say, we had to learn these songs from some of your big artists in Motown, the Temptations, Diana Ross and Supremes, Jimmy Walker and All Stars. So we became the Soul Town Band. And we did that for maybe about a year. And then we left that organization. And we was working in a club. And one of the master of ceremonies of the Soul Town Review had this idea at a club in Newark called the Blue Note. He had this poster. And the poster had a cube of ice and Kool written into it. And then he had some fire under it, melting the ice in it. We became Kool and the Flames.
Kool and the Flames.
Kool and the Flames. So we held on to that name until we met our first producer and manager, a gentleman by the name of Gene Red. And Gene Red's father worked with James Brown. He said, well, no, we can't use the Flames because you have James Brown and the Famous Flames. So we said, that didn't work. So we thought of a lot of names to call ourselves, and nothing was working. So Gene said, why don't you just call it Kool and the Gang? I mean, because you're jazz, you're backing up the artists with Soul Town, and your music, you just call it Kool and the Gang. And that's what we did.
Smart move.
And
smart move.
Yeah, we recorded our first album, single. The single was called Kool and the Gang. The album was called Kool and the Gang. And we introduced ourselves into the business as Kool and the Gang.
That was a smart move. When you guys got into the music business and you decided, when did you know you wanted to write? Like, when was that moment to say, hey, you know what, I want to start writing music. Kool and the Gang is here. Where do we go next?
Well, we started writing that in the beginning of the Kool and the Gang. That first album. We were writing along with Gene Red. Sounds like Sea of Tranquility or Breathing Soul. And we did one cover on there called Since I Lost My Baby on that album. And we continued to write. We was writing all kind of stuff. I mean, we came up with titles like Funky Granny, Funky Man, Good Times, NT, and it went on and on, all the way up until we got our big hits in the mid-'70s, funky stuff. Hollywood Swinging, Jungle Boogie, and on and on. Summer Madness, Open Sesame, we just write what we were feeling, and as we were growing as a group.
Now, did you know the songs that you were writing were going to be timeless songs? You talk about, like you said, Jungle Boogie, Hollywood Swingers, Cherish, Summer Madness. I mean, the list goes on and on. I don't know how you guys have lasted so long with so many hits after all of these years, and you guys are still going strong. How do you know when you have a hit?
Well, you feel good about it, okay? Uh, songs like Funky Stuff and Hollywood Swinging and Jungle Boogie. We felt that Funky Stuff, our late guitarist, Charles Smith,
Okay.
he came up with this guitar part that sounded like two people playing, and so that got to be different. And
Right.
that became a big record. That was number one for about 8 weeks. And then on that same album, we had, Hollywood Swinging and Jungle Boogie. Now, the story behind that, we were with our record company, and the record company said, listen, you guys are coming up with territorial hits. At that time, he was talking about Funky Granny or Funky Man or NT, or Who's Gonna Take the Weight, which became a very popular song later. But there was this song called Soul Makusa by Imago Dibango or Dibango.
Yes.
The producer had met with our record company, and our record company said, listen, we want you to meet with this guy who produced the song. And we said, okay. We had one meeting with him, and we weren't feeling him. So we went to the studio, Baggy Sound, Soho area of New York. We went in there at 8 o'clock in the morning. By midnight, we had created Funky Stuff, Jungle Boogie, and Hollywood Swinging. So
All at one night.
Say, no more problems from the record company.
No, all in one night. That's just incredible.
Well, I guess our back was against the wall. Get your back off the wall.
Yeah. You gotta take chances. You gotta take chances in this business. Now, what made you stay in the business? Because I noticed many artists from years ago, they came and went. They left. They had a short stint and they didn't survive. How did you guys, Kool and the Gang, how were you guys able to survive the music business? Because you guys were involved in the music business when it was the music business. It was gritty,
Yeah. Well, I think it was the support of our fan base, and we continued to make changes, each decade. They had counted us out after the first decade, after having Summer Madness and Open Sesame. Open Sesame kind of turned it back around because that was in that movie, Saturday Night Fever. And
yes,
that became,
I remember that.
Yeah, it became one of the top movies until Michael Jackson came with Thriller. Now, Saturday Night Fever has sold over 20 million records. It was us and the Bee Gees and, Casey and the Sunshine Band, the Tavares.
Right.
And then Michael came back and Thriller sold 30 million. But after that time period, there was this anti-dance music movement going on, and they were burning records in Chicago, and everything was anti-dance. Although we didn't feel that we had our music was disco music, but you could dance off it. But anyway,
right.
We're on tour with the Jacksons. That's when Michael was there with the Jackson 5.
Yes.
Okay, and Dick Griffey was promoting that tour. Plus, Dick Griffey had sold our records and etc. And Dick Griffey came to us and said, listen, you guys are doing pretty good on the tour. I like what you're doing. But I think you need a lead singer. And we said, lead singer? So a lot of the music that we were writing didn't have really a lead vocals on there, but it was open to a lead vocalist. So we met James J.T. Taylor. He was living in Hackensack, and the owner of the studio said, I got somebody that I want to recommend. And so James came to the studio. And we thought about it. He said, you got Lionel Richie with the Commodores, right. Philip Bailey, Maurice White with Earth, Wind and Fire. Maybe it's time for that.
Yeah, that missing piece, right?
Yeah. So I'm out there hanging in New York, my wife and I, in the city, and we noticed that we was hanging out at Regine's in Studio 54, and we noticed that every weekend there was a ladies' night. I said, ladies' night. So I went back, told the guys, hey man, I got a great idea for the album. And they said, yeah, what? I said, Ladies Night. He said, yeah, man. Ladies Night. I mean, every weekend there's a Ladies Night. And
That's
then I
right.
had the song hanging out. So I brought the song to the fellas. And George Brown came up with the music track and also helped with the song, and JT and my brother. And because he said, hey, it's a Ladies Night everywhere. So that was the first single with James JT Taylor. And that record blew
That
up.
was a great song. I remember Studio 54. I've been there once.
Okay.
And you're right. Friday night was ladies' night.
Oh yeah, that record blew up. You know, the late Frankie Crocker, he broke that record.
Yes.
He broke that record, Ladies Night. Also, Frankie Crocker was involved with Hollywood Swinging. You know, remember they used to call Frankie the Hollywood Rocker?
Absolutely, yeah. Because I know Vaughn Harper. Vaughn Harper and I were really good
my
friends.
buddies back in the day, Vaughn.
Yes, indeed. He, Frankie discovered Vaughn, and I remember hearing, because I grew up in Brooklyn, and I remember hearing the Hollywood Swingers. Man, it was every day, all day, every week, all weekend. It was a great song, and it's a classic. It's timeless.
And Frankie also would play Summer Madness after his shows. When he's signing off, you do, there I go. Then you hear, dum, 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 dum. You know, here goes Summer Madness. That was great.
With that bass at the bottom.
Yeah, it's been great, man.
You guys had a great run. I mean, working with working with the greats, as you said, Michael Jackson, the Jacksons, having toured with them, having so many hits. How did you come up with one song I got to ask you about is Jungle Boogie?
Well, that was that one day in the studio down there in New York at Baggy's. We started grooving, and he had such a nice groove to it. And then, I think it was DT did a little holler on the end, like Tarzan and whatever. But then Donald Boyce, who was working for us, he said, I got something for that. So we brought Donald into the studio, and he became the voice of the boogie. All that, I remember those voices and screaming. That was get down. Okay.
That was it, man. I mean, that was just a classic with the high heel shoes and the bell bottom pants.
Oh yeah, man.
Oh yeah.
We didn't know what was going to happen with that. I mean, but that turned our career around in the 70s, And then, like I said, then came Summer Madness and Open Sesame.
Right, because you guys were able to sustain 5 decades, which is remarkable, and in any field, let alone the music business, to go out with hit after hit after hit. Like with Too Hot was another one, a great song, great melody, great bass line. Everything was just great, and you guys had a great horn section as well, which kind of solidified a full band, because you guys were like competitive almost with Earth, Wind and Fire, but you guys had your own sound, which was great as well.
Yeah, well, if you go back in the day, you remember Willie Feaster and the Mighty Magnificents and Skip Sonny and the Pace Brothers? They told us a lot of lessons coming out of Jersey, coming to New York to Apollo. These guys were grooving and dancing and spinning their horn. Plus, they had Skip Sonny and the Pace Brothers was 3 singers. So they had the singers and the music and the band. I said, yeah, we got to reach that level with them. I wouldn't know surpass them, but they say, coming out of Jersey City, man, it's show business, man. You got to really get your act together, and we did.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Jersey City's a really cool town. Right next to New York. For those who don't know, I'm sitting here with the legendary Kool Bell from Kool The Gang, co-founder of Kool The Gang, and I love the fact that you guys are so approachable. To have sustained so much talent and so much recognition and to be approachable, which is a beautiful thing. 2 Grammys. I mean, 7 American Music Awards. What was it like going into the Songwriters Hall of Fame?
Wonderful. Because the Songwriters Hall of Fame is where you get the respect from your peers, your songwriters. Right. I mean, we have been waiting for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And trying to figure out
what's going on.
They're going to wake up and smell the coffee.
Do we have to look? Do we have to pay them a visit?
Hey, but
like, what's taking so long?
But I realized how large the Songwriters Hall of Fame was. I mean, it felt like bigger than the Grammys and all of them put together when we
right.
When we got the award, and all the who's and the record industry was there, from your Tommy Mottola to your Clyde Davidson, and I said, wow, this is huge. And
that's a big feat, man. That is big.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
huge.
We felt very good about that.
That's good. That's good. Now, going into your different awards, as I said, the Hollywood Walk of Fame, that was a beautiful thing. Billboard Awards. You guys have accomplished pretty much everything musically, right? But what happens to Kool and the Gang when we talk about the sample side of it? Because you guys are like one of the most sampled artists in the music business.
Yeah, that's what they say. Before he passed, though, again, our good brother James Brown said, "Yeah, I'm number one. They're number two."
Is that what he said?
Yeah, I'm number two. We're number two. But
right.
The sampling thing was that before they passed the law for sampling, it was like the Wild Wild West. So we had to send somebody out on sample patrol.
Right. I love that sample patrol.
And so they finally passed a law. And if I'm not mistaken, I think President Biden was one of the ones who voted on that. With that, if you sample a song, you have to pay the royalty, and the record companies. So anybody that went to sample after that had to get an okay from the artist or their publisher, because if not, then the record company was not going to release their record. So that became a bad thing to a good thing.
That's right. That's right. Now the publishing. I mean, how many songs how many of your songs have been sampled?
Oh, that's a good question. Many, many.
All right, we'll leave it at many. That's cool. I mean, when you have so many hits, it's hard to really go back and say, "Hey, we want to sample this song of Kool the Gang," because you guys have so many hits. So I mean, we have 31 gold and platinum records, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere around there. How does someone pick and choose, and how do you know when you want to release a sample to an artist? Because it may be a song, a hip hop song that you really don't care for what they're talking about within their portion of it, but they want to sample Kool the Gang's portion of it. Have you actually had the chance to turn down a sample?
Well, that a lot of that was happening, like I said before, the sample law came in Washington, but. There's a few favorites that happened with Will Smith with Summer Madness, Summertime. Right. He went on and got a Grammy. He went platinum, and he went into the movie business.
All for your song.
And then you had Diddy. Now, at that time, his name was Puffy. And he came to me at the Apollo Theater, man. He said, "Yeah, man, Kool, man, I'm going to sample one of your songs. It's going to be huge." I'm listening to him. I said, "What is that?" So he turned around. He sampled Hollywood Swinging. It was it became Bad Boy. I believe it was Bad Boy.
That's right.
Yeah. With Mace. Another big record.
Yes, indeed.
Another big
Yes, indeed.
And then there was for even Snoop sampled some of our music, and Madonna, Janet Jackson,
Wow.
Tribe Called Quest, Nas. It goes on and on.
Right. It's just mind blowing how everyone. What a good thing about sampling, I think, especially now that the law has changed, I think it gives an artist an opportunity to appreciate, and especially the person or the persons that want to sample your music, they have an appreciation for your sound, and they have an appreciation for your work. And they want to kind of like take it to the next level, into the next genre or the next section, whichever way it goes.
Right.
I think that's a really good thing.
Yeah. So do I.
And giving people the opportunity to listen to Kool the Gang, because Kool the Gang is everywhere. I mean, it is what it is, man. You guys are like the top band of all times, and it's just a beautiful thing. Now, I got to ask you about what advice do you give someone that wants to go into the music business, what do you say to them? A young person says, "Hey, Mr. Kool, I want to go into the music business. What do I need to do?"
Well, they should work hard at their craft and be sincere and serious about what you want to do, and also to learn as much about the music business as a business, as well as being an artist. And being an artist, you have to try to be creative and create your own sound, which is kind of hard to do today. Everything sounds the same. But back in the day,
everything sounds the same.
Yeah. But back in the day, if you heard the Ohio players, you knew they were Ohio players. If you heard, Earth, Wind and Fire or the Commodores, the various groups of that time, we all had our own sound, But
now, would you contribute that to social media, like say iTunes and YouTube and all these different social media platforms? Everybody's listening for that certain sound, but they're trying to duplicate.
Yeah, that's why everything sounds alike.
Everything sounds
either Burger King or McDonald's. And the record company, that's how they look at it. What have you done lately?
Right, right.
This new artist coming out. We're going to put our money in Justin Timberlake. Or we're going to put our money over here, money over there. At the same time, they control all our catalog. They're constantly making money off our catalog. They take our catalog money and break new artists. Now, I don't have anything against new artists. But what I'm saying, that's the business.
That's the business. That's 95. What is it? 95%. I talked to Vaughn about this once before. He said it's 95% business and 5% music. He said, because once you walk off that stage, somebody's got to count that money.
Absolutely.
And a lot of artists don't get it because they don't understand the business side of it, the copyright side of it, the legal side of the ramifications of copyrights.
Yeah, and the control of the masses. Who own the masters is the master. You have to control your own masters as well.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I mean that's important. I mean, knowing what to control and how to control and understanding the music. Like I said, it's 95% business and 5% music. Now, what I want to ask you is, how did you get into bass? The bass is the bottom part of any song, and how did you get involved in that? And do you play any other instruments besides bass?
No, it's pretty much bass. I played a little bongos and congas when we first moved out of Youngstown, Ohio, into Jersey City. But the late Spike Mickens, my brother played guitar. And we all used to hang out at Spike's house, myself, GT, my brother, Khalis. And I'm fooling around with, his name was Butch Mickens, with his guitar. And I learned how to play one song on one string called Coming Home Baby by Herbie Mann.
Nice.
And you play the whole song on the one string. And so one day we were at the Cafe Wa, and they used to have those hootenannies on Sundays. And my brother said, "Man, why don't you pick up that bass and play that one song, Coming Home Baby, on that one string."
Right.
And now I'm going from a guitar to a bass. And
right.
At least I knew how to play that one song on the guitar string. So on the bass string, you got that thick E string.
Right.
And that's what happened. And I gravitated towards playing bass. That's how I became a bass player. Then I had to learn and listen to music. And Charles Smith was very good and showing me stuff because he played guitar, showing me the stuff on the bass and listening to records. And because a lot of our music we created ourselves, we didn't have to, be with a situation with where you went to school for music or, we learned from the street,
Yeah, you basically taught yourself, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Self-taught, and you were, as I keep saying, a living legend as a songwriter, creating and crafting a song. What is the chemistry? How do you come up with the chemistry for any song that you've done? Like, do you just play a bass? Do you have someone play keys to start off with? What is your chemistry?
It depends on the song. Sometimes it's the drums and the bass, that we look at as the foundation. You got a good funky groove going on, and the bass with the drums, and then you build, the keyboards, and then the guitar, working around that, and then you have the horn section, and that's the funk. Now there's other songs
just like that. You make it sound so easy, man.
Well, I mean, it's the cool formula.
It's the cool funk. There you go.
Formula. That's how we did it. Now you have other scenarios like George Brown, like Too Hot. He wrote that song 100% because it was something that happened in his life. Things got too hot, and 16 they fell in love, and you know the story.
Yeah, absolutely.
So a lot of songs is by some of the guys wrote, and other ones we did together.
Got it. So when you write, just for folks that are interested in recording, because really what we try to do is educate people about great artists and great people that have made a great contribution into society, and you actually have done that. When you look at the music side of it, from copywriting music to playing music to recording music, have you been involved or have you been close to a particular recording studio? I know you said you recorded down in the Village, which was crazy back then. What area of recording do you get into, like engineering at all? Is it just production or arranging? What's your side?
Well, my side is more just coming up with some ideas and concepts, and also playing the bass. My brother was more on the recording side, and a hell of a writer too, and also George Brown out on the West Coast. He had his studios on the West Coast, and I lost my brother 6 months ago.
Yes, my condolences. Yes, absolutely.
He had a studio on the East Coast, and then he had a studio down in St. Thomas, and he was writing a lot of music there. Matter of fact, next single coming out next month is one of the last songs that my brother wrote, called "Pursuit of Happiness," along with Walt Anderson, who was the youngest guy in the band, and another brother named Boogie from Atlanta. So that was the last song that he wrote, "Pursuit of Happiness," which will be out next.
Now, it's "Pursuit of Happiness." I believe it's on YouTube. Is it out on iTunes at all?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Okay.
But we're getting ready to officially come out with the record, and it'll be out next month. New video and the total promotion. Right now, that was the YouTube was the teaser.
That makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. Now, are you guys going to have a follow-up album after that single, "Pursuit of Happiness"?
Yeah, it's called Perfect Union. It will be out in June. Now, "Pursuit of Happiness," my brother, like I said, he was the main writer for that song.
Right.
He also was key writer for "Celebration." And then when President Biden was nominated, they played "Celebration." When President Biden won, "Celebration" was one of the most played songs in the world. Now, in the song "Pursuit of Happiness," my brother speaks about the lyrics of them together. Was just talking about, for the pursuit of happiness, world peace, perfect union, which is part of the Constitution. And Biden, when he accepted the nomination, he went into the pursuit of happiness, world peace, perfect union.
How ironic is
my
that?
brother
right?
he had some insight on that, in terms of that. So that's what we do.
It may have been an inside call.
Yeah, that's what we do. And the album, like I said, will be out in June.
Okay. Now, I want to talk to you about you have a great line behind you that I can't wait to talk about. It's called LeKool Champagne.
Yes.
Is that right?
That's it.
I got the bottles they look great, and everybody needs to know, man. What's going on? How did you guys come up with the LeKool Champagne?
Well, we were touring a couple of years ago in Europe, and we had about 12 to 15 shows in France. And the promoter came to me and he said, "Listen, I'm doing something champagne with the Barry White lookalike, and I'm doing something with one of the Bee Gees." And he said, "Would you like to do a champagne on your tour?" I said, "Well, I'm not quite interested in that, because after my fans coming to a concert, I think they're more into T-shirt, cap, something like that. I don't know if they want to buy a bottle of champagne.
Right.
When I said that, I want to go on the shelves. He said, "Huh? Yeah, I want to go on the shelves." And I came up with this name called LeKool Champagne, and I wanted it to break in France first, so that when it came to America, it'd be, "Oh, what's this champagne?" Well, it's from the Champagne region, the region of Dom Perignon, Berg Picot, and Moet Chandon, and Dom Renard. So that was my whole thing.
And then they got LeKool.
Now we have LeKool. Now we got backed up a little bit with the pandemic, but I would say that the champagne has really started this year in terms of our promotion and the things that we're going to do. Now, I haven't worked on the road for a while, so it gives me a chance to promote the champagne. And I've been doing it the old school way. I've been taking it to stores to order the champagne, and I'll come in and do a bottle signing, like we used to do album signing, so, for now. So it's starting to pick up. Right now we have distribution in 5 states, New York, New Jersey, Georgia, Florida, and LA. But,
gotcha.
We got to get the rest of the country, It's not like the record business, though. Each state you have to get compliance and get the okay in each state. You just can't just go out there like we should put a record out. But it's been good.
Right.
And I've been happy about it. I have my rosé for the ladies, because I hear the ladies love rosé. We finally got rosé coming in. We're coming in about 2 weeks. But the main one that we have is called the Grand Cru. And we're going to have a LeBlanc coming in by the end of the year. So
you have like a whole line of champagne, different types of champagne, different. Yeah,
I'm enjoying it. I got a little say in there.
Okay.
When the summer becomes madness and it gets too hot, have you a nice ice cold glass of LeKool Champagne.
There you go. I love it how you incorporate the lyrics with it. That's genius. That's genius. Well, listen, man, I thank you for giving me your time. I thank you for coming on to March5Music Podcast. It was a pleasure. I know you're a busy man and you got a lot going on and you got to promote that champagne. But I would love to have you back.
Okay.
Once your album comes out, it would be a great thing to push that album. It's called Perfect Union, right?
Perfect Union, yeah.
Perfect Union will be out in 2021. I believe you said it was available in June 2021.
Yeah, the album and the single's coming out next month, though. And you're right, it was on YouTube. It was slightly animated, and we got a lot of feedback on that one. Got good compliments.
Good.
But now we got to come out with the full thing. Now we're ready to go. It's been mixed, mastered, and we got a new video coming out, and we have some vignettes. I guess my publicist, I guess something to you. We got the Kool The Gang cartoons, the story vignette. It's a documentary animated. It's an animated documentary.
So you holding out on me, man. When is this coming out? The Kool The Gang cartoons.
But that's out in terms of a teaser also. If you go up, you'll see five versions right now. But we have to finish it up. But that's out. Yeah.
That sounds like a really good idea. I mean, will it tell the story of Kool The Gang, of Robert Kool Bell and the Kool The Gang?
Oh yeah. I'll make sure that Angelo and Kevin get that to you, so you can take a look at that.
Absolutely.
Quite interesting.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, anything that you're working on, like I said, I would love to push it. And we're in 10 countries right now, and I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited to bring, because everybody knows Kool The Gang, and I can't wait to release this podcast out there.
Are you in Africa?
Not in Africa.
Okay.
We're not in Africa. We're in France. We're in Germany. We're in London. We're in Canada. Obviously, the United States. Philippines.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the Philippines. I'll send you a text once we're done with the information where we are. But yeah, we're in 10 countries and it's going pretty well. And again, it's just promoting greatness, which you are. I mean, you're funk royalty, if you will. The R&B funk world. I mean, your music is timeless and classic. Many people have gotten married from your music. Many great things have happened throughout your music. Yeah. I mean, it's a pleasure.
I'm hearing there was many babies were born off of Summer Madness too.
Man, Man, look, I may have been one of them.
Okay, man.
I may have been one of them.
Yeah, but
No, but Too Hot. I mean, like you said, so many great songs. I mean, you guys, you've been a pillar in the music society. Greatly appreciated.
thank you.
Much respect to Kool The Gang, Robert Kool Bell, co-founder of Kool The Gang. You guys have been tremendous, made a tremendous contribution in the music world, and I thank you for that.
Okay, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, absolutely. But don't go nowhere. I want to thank Robert Kool Bell for being here, March5Music Podcast, and we will have you back soon. So don't go nowhere. Hold tight, all right? Yeah, you see it's loaded up now.